right, so this is an MVP demonstration. I develop a lot of things on the back end. It totally looks like something developed on the back end, but these are working demonstrations, and this is parts of what you're going to see is Web 3.0, and then with what I believe is really important is an integration into um, tangible physical things. Like, and I use things like these cards, which I'm going to show you in a minute, in conjunction with my phone to bring people into the space. So let me start right here. This is kind of one of the main things I do, and I've done this with various currencies. I'm working with the Ethereum and other related ledgers right now. And these are all created with smart contracts. However, they're just the simplest contract you can imagine, just simple enough to put this data into here. And you do it right here. You can add a link right here. So I'll demonstrate doing that. Let's see. So I have a link to this song right here. So I can just copy it and paste the URL right in there. And actually, let me do this little. Yeah, that's fine. Um, and then I paste the name in right here. And again, so this is a live demo that puts this as data onto an Ethereum ledger. In this, see, so it's going to pop up MetaMask so that I make a payment. Now I'm using the test network, and there's other inexpensive networks like Polygon. So I would never do this with Ethereum itself because each time it would cost $15 to $20. So that's going to go through, and we will see it. We'll see it updated here in a little bit, right? So I can click reload. It's probably not. It's not going to do it. Sometimes it messes up. See, okay, so now we see it there, right? So it's pulled it off of the ledger and reloaded it, and it was written with this uh, ID right here. That was the ID. Now, because I'm interested in Web 3.0, I'm actually able to take, this is on just a test website that I build these MVPs and riskiest assumption tests and whatnot. But I've put this out here where you see this is actually on an IPFS site. And again, you can enter the data here. It's going to you're going to need MetaMask, and I don't happen to have MetaMask loaded into this particular browser. But if you click refresh, you'll notice that you're not getting that yet because I have a middle step that I do. So on my site, I immediately pull down everything anybody loads. So if anybody comes to this site or finds this on IPFS, which I would say is this is in the orange, this is Web 3.0 because nobody really owns this site. It is hosted on my server, but IPFS can be, especially, and you'll see kind of the way I do it. It can be massively hosted on sites all around the world, and I can't tell. Nobody can tell if you have visited this. Again, because it's not on my site, but you're able to do the same stuff. Um, enter the data into there, and the way I update it is right now I do it from the shell because I do things from the back end. So that's the new IPFS URL. So if we open that up, hopefully it'll open relatively fast. I can kind of talk as it's going. But this will have the new data out for everybody to see. I'm just going to trust that that's going to happen. And while that's kind of stewing in the background, I'm going to show you this, which is a smart contract I use to control this so that you have really two different things. You have this process that anybody can update, and then you have what is published. And so I publish it with this, and I can even view the transaction to see. So see, it's pending now. So the world doesn't really know about this IPFS address right here, right? It only knows about this one. But when this is no longer pending, then when I hit refresh, this entire IPFS site will change to the new one. So this is a constantly rolling and changing ecosystem that if you tap into it at any one point, you can follow it, right? You can sort of subscribe to it, and it will just update itself. And of course, you could look out on the ledger and find a URL, but you only need one of these, right? So if you just copy down this URL, it's only updated by me, so you can trust then that what you're getting is information from me. So now somebody could put something really terrible in here, because again, this is anybody in the world that has MetaMask can load this stuff. So what I'm demonstrating is that you can have this kind of credentials process where I act as a gatekeeper, and it's still pending. So see, so it says it's successful. So now if I hit refresh, it might take a little while. Oh no, there it is. So now I have officially approved. So I added the video myself, but then I approved it through this process, and it looks like it's in a continuous refresh loop, which is a bug, but that's okay. And so that's one piece of this, right? Is that I'm using smart contracts in a different way to put data into the ledger. Now, so let me show you another element of this, which is what we see right here. Now, again, a lot of the stuff I do is, this is all minimum viable product. It's the bare minimum to show something, right? So these are mostly shops and different things. It looks like I put a song there in one of them, but this is this has to do with these cards. So what I can do is, using my phone, I have the scanner on my phone, and this card says 39692. So I think that's the one we're looking at right now. Yeah. So we imagine that this is a customer, and if it's going to work here, I can just scan it with my phone. And if it's not going to work, I can scan the one right here, right? So this is what's on the card. So I just scanned it from there into my phone, and I say open browser, and it will open into MetaMask on my phone. So I'm opening MetaMask on my phone. So this is something that somebody could do, like at a shop or something, right? That way, only the customer can just have a card like this, and only the person that runs the shop um, needs to have this, and you can. Uh, so I'm going to say send. It's account 4, and that has successfully sent on the phone, right? And these are small amounts, and so again, you'll see it updated here, and this, which you're seeing, actually can be displayed from the phone as well. So you have that on one side and you have this on the other side. This was the thing I tried to scan, although this one, I think the edge is messed up. Um, if I go to my scanner, if I go to my barcode scanner again and scan this black QR code, okay, it got that one, and I can open it up um, with any browser, because this is what the customer would experience, right? So they can uh, they can look at this from their phone, right? And you probably can't see, yeah, you see the same information on the phone that you see here. Um, that's what they would see, and of course, this can be more of a customer loyalty system, and that just showed that I received the payment, a tiny, tiny payment. So this is a customer loyalty system that works through the same sort of thing. So let's see. I'm just curious now if I scan this other one with the phone. Okay, so that worked. So um, that's what would happen in a shop, right? And this is there's a lot of different technology that I'm showing you here, but it's a very powerful um, system. This right here that we see, this, I have kind of different colors. Uh, this is not something that people have, that I've ever seen anybody doing before. So this is as far as I know, I'm the only one to do this, and this begins to tie your identity into whatever you're saying here, right? Like this person, or computer or whatever, this person put this image in here, right? And um, simply with IPFS. So just like in the beginnings of Web 2.0 or Web 1.0 or whatever, things were very simple. So it's back to very simple world again. However, you know the identity. You can tell the identity of people, at least their MetaMask identity. See, this song was uploaded by this person, and you can go from here and see all of their transactions. And these transactions, of course, each, if it says record, it represents, um, data, right? You can see the data right in here. uh, see mas que nada, right? So um, all of the data can be found and made sense of uh, by looking at the ledger. So what I do is I am projecting into this system that after I project into it, I no longer control it. Um, but there are certain parts you can control, right? You can that's the filtering process that sort of also happens as I publish things out. Now, if it's on my own website, of course, I can totally filter it. Uh, but again, there's this element that things can live, outside, um, directly in IPFS here, and even from here, somebody can interact with the system. So so this is a really new idea. I think it's possible to um, almost anonymously add data into the system. It's not completely anonymous because we understand your Ethereum ID. But other than your Ethereum ID, there's no record. There's no record that you would have visited this. The IPFS company, I guess, could, maybe you could get a record from them, but that would be very difficult. It would be very strange to try to figure out all the people that visited this. And when it refreshes, it changes. And so if I hit refresh, it will it'll update, but then it'll probably go into that same refresh loop. So that's it. Those are the different pieces of how this fits together. Um, and I know that's a lot of pieces. But I've shown a large abstract idea as well as a very specific usage with these cards. And again, the key with the card is that you can have somebody in a shop that has MetaMask, and after some recent conversations, I feel like that's going to be more possible to have people trained to do that, right? Such a big hurdle, and you can interact. This can be a loyalty card that you can uh, send through the mail. You can bulk generate thousands of these. You don't have to generate 1,000 accounts. You generate one account for um, each campaign. So maybe there's one smart contract, or not even that. Each campaign might have its own address, but within that, you can have thousands of users. They're not real users in that they can't receive Ethereum with something like this, but it does serve. It does have a purpose. Um, Thank you for listening. I'm sure this was long and obscure, but I hope that this was informative.